Ashley, how's it going?
All right.
Good, good. So before we get started, I just want to go over the limits of confidentiality with you again. I know it's our third session, but just want to cover those again. Just want to let you know that anything that is said in here will be kept between you and I in confidence. The only instances where I would have to break confidentiality would be in the event that I suspect that you are a harm to yourself or others. So do you agree with that?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, awesome. All right, so at our last session, we had kind of introduced the idea of doing some cognitive behavioral therapy.
Mm-hmm.
You had been talking to me about some of the stressors that were going on at work. Do you still kind of want to move forward in talking more about cognitive behavioral therapy with your sessions? Does that sound good with you?
I mean, I guess I'm just willing to try anything now.
Okay, awesome. All right. So within cognitive behavioral therapy, there's something called automatic thoughts. And automatic thoughts are essentially how you feel and think about yourself whenever you're in a stressful situation or how you feel about something. So really that's kind of what I want to focus on today is what your thought processes are. Does that sound good to you today? Okay. So to start off, how has your week been going? How did the past week go compared to our last session?
It was still pretty stressful. I had a couple of things that really pissed me off, so.
Okay, so you want to talk about one of those things? What was one of those things that kind of pissed you off in a way?
Sure. So I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday, and I got an email from my boss, and I was already super busy, and I got several emails from her. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and she wanted all of this stuff done by like 8 o'clock the next day. And it just, I don't know why it set me off. It's just kind of how she is. It's like a pattern with her, so it just made me really mad.
Okay, so it sounds to me like your boss is really kind of throwing this stuff that she wants you to do in a short time frame and expecting you to get it done on top of all your other duties.
Yeah.
And it's stressing you out, making you feel overwhelmed, and maybe even, make the job more stressful than it needs to be, right? Like she's not taking into account your feelings and how much time you actually have to do a job, okay? Let's see, okay. What I would like to do today is introduce what is called a thought record with you. Would you be willing to want to look at the thought record? The thought record is really kind of analyzing a situation that you're in, how you felt during the situation, and what your thoughts, both about the situation and about yourself were. Is that something that you'd be interested in?
Sure, I'm going to try.
Okay, cool. All right. So to start off, what I want you to do in that first box under the situation box is just kind of write down what the situation was to you, how the situation appeared to you.
Okay. So like the same thing I just told you? Okay.
Okay, awesome. So you wrote, my boss emailed me at 2 p.m. and want stuff done by 8 p.m. So within that, what were the unwanted emotions that were brought on by your boss emailing you and wanting all of this stuff done?
I guess like stress, is that an emotion? Or stressed?
Absolutely.
I would say kind of mad.
Okay.
Maybe kind of feeling a little bit like inadequate.
Okay. All right, so write those down in that first box.
In the first one or this one?
In the first one.
Okay.
And then what was your, how did those emotions affect your behavior?
Well, my behavior, I really wanted to write back immediately and tell her no, but of course you can't do that to your boss. So I would say it just, I could feel myself just getting kind of heated, so I actually closed my blinds to my office and didn't really want to talk to anyone.
Okay, So really kind of, did it kind of make you feel anxious in a way, like, you know, tense in a way? It kind of sounds like that's what you were feeling physiologically, your
Definitely.
behavior. And it also kind of made you want to withdraw from others because you were so stressed. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
Okay, awesome, okay. So now, when this was happening, what were your thoughts initially?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay. Anything else?
There's no way I can get this done.
Okay.
She always does this to me.
Okay. Why don't you write that down in that second box there? Now, within that, we obviously have thoughts about a situation, but this was where we had talked about the automatic thought that I brought up earlier. What were you thinking about yourself when this was happening? What were your thoughts?
Kind of that last one, like I'm not good enough to work here, or I'm not good enough to do my job, basically.
Okay.
If that's how it is.
Write both of those down.
Right here?
Yes. Okay. And on a scale of 1 to 5, how much would you say how intense were those thoughts? How much were you thinking them in a way and believing them?
In that moment, it was probably a 4.
Okay, so write that down, 4 in the moment. And how much do you believe them now, since you are out of that situation?
Since it's something that's kind of ongoing, I would say probably still like a 2 at least.
Okay, all right, write that down. So 2 currently. Okay. So when this was happening, obviously your emotions were affected. What were the types of feelings that you were having after you received those emails?
Well, like I said, stressed for sure.
Okay.
Mad, and probably that like inadequate feeling, like not good enough.
Okay, write that down in that third box there. Okay. Now, those feelings, from what you've told me and from what I'm just gathering from you, they really, really seem to affect you whenever this was happening. On a scale of 1 to 5, how badly or how much do you think that these feelings affected you?
You want like in the moment again?
Yeah, let's do it in the moment.
Probably a 5 in the moment.
Okay, so very intense, it seems. Okay, so it seems that it really, really bothered you in the moment. And how about now?
It still does.
Okay.
Not as strong, I guess.
So what would you rate that as?
Like a 3.
A 3, okay. All right. So what we have talked about is so far within the thought record is that your boss emailed you at 2 o'clock, wanted you to get a bunch of stuff done by 8 p.m. You already had your other tasks to do. You didn't feel that you had enough time to do all this, so it caused stress, made you anxious, pissed you off. It really made you kind of withdraw from others, made you just feel inadequate, like you couldn't do your job, and that you maybe in a way weren't being respected by your boss. She wasn't being respectful of your time. So now what I'm going to introduce is what is called a cognitive distortion. And these are irrational beliefs that we can have in times of like high stress or whenever we're facing a problem. So what I want you to do is go through this sheet of paper and read through these 10 cognitive distortions I have here and circle the ones that you feel apply to you whenever you were in this situation.
Okay. Wow, there's a lot of them that I think are related.
Does that surprise you
Mm-hmm.
in a way?
Yeah, like when you look at them like this, it's almost like, wow.
Do you think that there's any difference between how you think now and how you were thinking then whenever you look at these sheets or this sheet of paper?
Yeah.
Like in the moment you think differently than what you do after you're out of the situation.
Right.
Okay. So you have the automatic thoughts of that I'm not inadequate, I'm not adequate to do my job, I'm not good at my job. What evidence do you have to support those automatic thoughts?
I guess nothing.
Nothing? Okay. So you don't feel that now, you feel it, so you don't feel that there's any evidence that you're bad at your job and that you can't do your job?
Not really.
Okay, so I want you to write that down.
Like
No evidence supporting
Okay.
your automatic thought in that situation. So on the flip side of that, what evidence is there that does not support the automatic thought?
Are you talking about like in the situation or now? Like if I think back.
We can do both. Okay, so thinking back, what evidence was there that didn't support those automatic thoughts of I'm inadequate and I can't do my job?
That didn't support it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got it done.
Okay, so you were able to fulfill those duties.
Mm-hmm.
So you were able to do your job, right?
Yeah.
And now that we're out of the situation, it's been about a week. What do you see as evidence now that doesn't support those automatic thoughts?
I actually got an email from her with a big thank you and that she was very happy that I got it done.
Okay, so in a way you got some recognition from your boss that she acknowledged that you were able to get it done. Okay, so write that down there. So, how much do you believe in those automatic thoughts? In the situation, how much did you believe in those automatic thoughts?
And we're still talking about the like I'm not good enough in the situation. Now that you've showed me this stuff, it's lower.
Okay. All right, so on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate that?
Like in the moment, I think it's hard to think about in the moment because I know that it all worked out okay, but I would say probably like a 3 in the moment, but now it's 1.
Okay, so write both of those down. Okay. All right, so now we're going to kind of move into the final part of the thought record, which is the outcome. So this is where we talk about if you were to use an alternative way of thinking in situations, how that might affect your emotions and your behavior. So let's come up with a automatic thought that would combat, if you were in this situation, a different automatic thought that would combat what you had thought originally.
I would say to just tell myself, I'm only one person and I can only do what
Okay.
I can do.
Okay, so I can only do so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's write that down.
Over here?
Yeah. All right, so how do you feel that this automatic thought, this new one that we have come up with, how do you feel that it might change your emotions in relation to the situation?
I think it would be more of like really a relief.
Okay.
I mean, it's still stressful, but I mean, that's just how my work is, but relieved.
So maybe acknowledging, yes, I do have a stressful job, but, I'm going to get done what I can do, and if I don't get it all done, I've done what I can.
Right.
Right? Okay. So write that down. Feel a sense of relief, okay? And how do you feel that your behaviors would be affected if you were to use this automatic thought of, I can only do so much?
I mean, they'd be totally different. I wouldn't try to withdraw, and I might even, try to recruit some people to help me.
So essentially, maybe in a way, kind of do the opposite of what you did the first time in this situation. Instead of stressing, having anxiety, that physiological response, going out and maybe seeking help from your other team members and asking one of them to help you with it. And that would also probably bring you a sense of relief. Do you agree? In a way. Okay, so write that down. So how much do you believe in this new automatic thought?
Was this the 1 to 5 again?
If you were to use this in the future situation, if you were to come across this situation again in your work, and you were to take a step back and kind of recall on using this thought record and utilize it in what we've talked about today, how much do you think that you would believe in that new thought?
I would love to say 5, but I think that the only thing that hinders me from that is that, even though I believe that, it still has to get done. It's still a job and you'll get in trouble if you don't get certain things done. So I would say probably a 4 though.
4? Okay, go on ahead and write that down. Okay, so we have finished filling out the thought record. What we kind of discussed was, we brought up the situation of your boss assigning you with a bunch of work, kind of late in the afternoon, early afternoon. You only have so much time before it's your scheduled time to go home to get all this done. It's due by 8 o'clock the next morning. Caused you to feel stressed, anxious, made you feel as though that you weren't able to do your job and that you weren't adequate enough to do your job. And it also made you withdraw from others. So we kind of analyzed what your thoughts were. And as I just said, your automatic thoughts were that I'm inadequate, I can't do my job, I can't fulfill my duties, those sorts of things. So what we were able to do was kind of see how you thought in the moment and how much you believed in those thoughts in the moment, and then how much you believe in them now. And then we were also able to come up with a new automatic thought that you can use in the future if you ever come across this situation again in your work. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you ever in the next week come across a situation that is similar to the one that you experienced last week, recall on this thought record, and I can even give you a copy of it, and you could do this yourself and analyze, what are my thoughts? How am I reacting emotionally to this situation? How am I reacting behaviorally to this situation? Is it positive? Is it negative for me? Should I come up with a new automatic thought? And how would that affect me in this situation? Do you feel that that is something that would be helpful to you in the future?
I think so. I mean, I think, whenever you are able to kind of analyze things like this, it really puts a new spin on it.
Do you feel the automatic, or I'm sorry, do you feel that the thought record was effective today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, well, I encourage you to utilize it in the next week, and maybe if you come across a situation and you do utilize it, we can talk about that in our next session.
Okay.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. I'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks.
Awesome.